That's hilarious.
That is brilliant. So it sounds like you don't take yourselves too seriously.
Yeah,
try not to.
Yeah.
I think it's harder now, like since we've the business nearly 7 years. So like as you're in that scaling period and you know lots of staff and lots of responsibility and all those other bits and pieces, it's definitely harder than it was at the start. But I think we're finding that joy and that passion and that fun like anywhere
we're
we can.
renewing our vows.
We are. We have some news.
You're so
Do you
right,
miss
though.
the start? Do you miss what it was like?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all day long. The start is so... Now, look, don't get me wrong. It's amazing. We've had such incredible success the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Particularly in the last year. But the start, especially, well, really for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, like creatively, you know, having a fresh page, doing everything like with a really small budget, so you have to be really creative and innovative. Like that for me, there's something really magic in that, like when it starts to land. And then I think as it becomes more complex and as you're scaling, like which has to happen, you know, for a business to survive, thrive and grow, and to scale internationally like we are, you have to obviously put structure, which is not my favorite thing.
It's my favorite.
In there, and that just can stifle the creativity a little bit, and like that's okay, that's cool, that's where we're, you know, we're at different stages, but it's definitely a flow.
So do you tell people who are just starting out, being like, enjoy it?
Yeah, but it's really hard to enjoy
It is hard to enjoy it in the beginning, you know, because you are fighting, you know, against low budget, you know, like, you know, low resource, all of that sort of stuff. So whilst we were definitely wearing like 40 hats each kind of at the time, but we both individually brought a really strong skill set, which I think we kind of went into very naively, not really understanding, but totally appreciating how much we actually were able to bring to the table at the early days as well. And I think we sort of took that for granted. You know, we both have marketing backgrounds, me particularly in digital marketing. So like I built the website when we first started. You know, I built out all the social media platforms, all the strategy and everything. And like Niamh comes from a marketing background, like ex-Unilever, you know, so like we both brought a lot of strengths, I suppose, from like, a marketing point of view.
Absolutely. And even had to do like Ross on our own and obviously all those other bits from an accounting perspective.
And guys, the VAT return is due. Like the other night, I said to my husband, I was like, would you please take down all the Christmas decorations?
That was so
and he
funny.
was like, have you done your VAT return? And like, eye roll. I am desperate when it comes to the money side of things.
I'd honestly say, and it's a big generalization, but 99% of creative business people are. Like, you know, it's the thing that's left until the last minute. It's like the last deadline. It's the procrastination piece. And it's going, I promise. And everyone goes out and they buy their accordion folder and they put all their little receipts in for the first 2 months. And then it's back to usual afterwards because that's not where your skill set lies. And it is hard at the start when you have to wear the 40 hats and do all the bits and pieces. But, you know, sometimes as well, like you have to be gentle on yourself. And we're very grateful to be at that place now where we'll turn around and I'll say, that's not my skill set. That's not where I'm the strongest. I'll absolutely do that. No problem. But if you want to get the best out of me, I know, you know, where to put me. Like, and that's in the creative zone. It's in the marketing zone. It's, you know, in those different areas. And I'll absolutely sit down if I have to do the payroll and do the P4, do whatever it might be, no problem. I'll jump on there and if I have to do it, but I'm not going to like it.
I'm actually the same. I'm so creative, but when it comes to that side of things, and I agree, you just need to do what you're good at. But where did the name come from? How did you make the decision to start? Like, where did the two of you meet, combine, and explode?
I suppose. Well, really, we're both very intuitive people, and we both be very, I think, led by our gut feeling. So we always really respect each other. I don't know if you want to explain about where we kind of started. Well, go on.
I know it's always an awkward dynamic, isn't it? Like whenever there's two people, you know, because I'm like, you know. But anyway, we'll bounce off one another for this. The start of it, I have been a makeup artist for nearly 10 years, and not in that profession now, obviously, since moving into my role in Ella&Jo. But like I would have had like a national presence on social media, television, you know, education, all of that. And I would have done masterclasses like around the country where I could have had like 100 to 250 people in a room educating them about all things makeup. And I always believed that there was a skin first, makeup second ethos before skin kind of became trendy and cool. And I asked Niamh to join me as a skin expert, because like that I really respected her in her field, and she would have came around with me and delivered skin conversations, Q&As, you know, for the women that were at my master classes. So then a couple of years later, we sort of moved on. Niamh is also a reflexologist, and I was just newly married, kind of probably burnt out, building a house, getting married, you know, all of that sort of stuff.
But doing this while you're in your marketing job as well?
Marketing and makeup, and trying to
we like the
build that off
multifunction.
the ground.
The multiple revenue streams, trying to make it work.
Lots of different hats.
I loved it at the time. Like, I was working 7 days a week, but I was in my early 20s and I thrived off it. Like, I absolutely loved it. The more hours I could work, the better. Like, I just absolutely loved it. And I suppose like makeup was my passion, education was my passion, you know, in both fields, you know, in digital marketing and in makeup. So Niamh, then moving forward, then I suppose she became my reflexologist, and that's when I suppose the real deep and meaningful conversations started to happen, and the connection started to build. And Niamh just approached me one day and said, you know, look, I have an idea for a product. I don't want to do this on my own, because I've been in business on my own for too many years now, and I'd like to offer you the position to come into a partnership with me. And I didn't even think twice about it. I had just had a conversation with my husband the week previous where we were talking about starting a family, and I was going, you know, okay, the makeup world doesn't lend me to family life because it's long weekends, it's a lot of travel, early mornings, etc., etc. And he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I either want to set up an academy for makeup, or I want to bring out my own product line. And then literally like the week later, Niamh approached
and then
me and
the
said,
universe speaks.
No, genuinely.
And you have to seize that opportunity.
I didn't even know what the idea was, what the product was, but I just was like, that's okay, let's do it.
It was just the maddest thing. So our first product was Squeaky Clean Brush Cleanser, and literally we had been like that. I have a skin clinic the last 13 years, so I'm a skin therapist for over 15 years, but I did my transition year work experience in a salon. I always had really bad skin, and I was obsessed with understanding the skin, and I was working in that space, and you're talking to people and they're putting €15 maybe worth of product on their face every morning, and then you talk to them about their makeup brushes and how often they were cleaning them, and it was the elephant in the room. And I was going, okay, there has to be something out there that I can retail with the skincare to get the better result for my clients, because that's what I wanted. For me, it was the before and afters internally for them, for their skin confidence. And there was nothing out there. And I was like, oh God, like there has to be something. And I went to the local enterprise office and I was like, guys, look, I'm trying to find a manufacturer for something. I've got an idea, you know, who can I reach out to? And they gave me some names. And then I was like, as Charlene was saying, I really didn't want to do it on my own, but obviously highly respected her, you know, within the industry in terms of your presence, your knowledge, and like loved her personality as well. And like we didn't have any big, deep and meaningful where it was like you know, hi, do you want to be my partner? Will you be my friend? And we didn't do any of that. And like, you know, we started with one product and we were like, we'll just see how it goes, and got the samples in, and we were sitting down having a conversation, and Charlene came in, and what happened? You told me you were pregnant.
It was 6 weeks after we had made the decision, that we had set up, you know, the business, you know, the business name, and we had started the conversations. And then 6 weeks later, I was trying to get pregnant for a year, and it just wasn't happening, you know. And I was like, oh, you know, okay, whatever. So then it was like this new business was going to be the baby, you know. And I was like, this is what I'm going to focus on. And then literally like 6 weeks later, I was like, Niamh, I'm pregnant. You're not going to want to go into business with me. I'm, you know, blah blah blah. Niamh had 2 children at this stage already, and she just looked at me. She was like, what's wrong with you? She's like, everything's going to be okay. She was like, of course, we'll be fine, you know.
And then it maybe 12 weeks later, I was like, I also have news.
She was pregnant as well. So
I launched